Rise with India podcast on ET Now.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to this edition of the ET Now Rise with India podcast. I'm your host Rohit, and here are the headlines we're tracking this morning. Coal stocks at thermal power plants will start increasing, assures Coal Ministry officials. Final decision on emergency use listing for Bharat Bio's Covaxin next week, says the WHO. Moody has affirmed India's sovereign rating, upgrading outlook to stable from negative. And HDFC Bank has reportedly initiated a formal process to rope in a strategic investor for HDB Financial. Coal stocks at thermal power plants will start increasing in another 2 to 3 days, according to an official at Coal Ministry. The remarks come at a time when the country's power plants are grappling with coal shortage ahead of the festival season. A Coal India official also said the company is making efforts to ramp up supply to power sector with 1.5 million tons per day in another few days from present 1.4 million tons. Moody's has upgraded India's ratings outlook to stable from negative, saying a recovery is underway and growth this fiscal will surpass the pre-pandemic rate. Moody's, however, kept India's sovereign rating at Baa3. The change in the rating outlook to stable reflects receding downside risks. From April next year, car owners will have to shell out 8 times more the amount at Rs 5,000 for renewing registration of cars that are more than 15 years old. According to a report in the Economic Times, Arena Investors, a US-based company, had proposed to buy 74% in stray equipment finance for about 2,000 crore rupees before the RBI took control of the NBFC. Singapore-based Makara Capital also had proposed to bring in about 2,200 crore rupees. The World Health Organization will make a decision on granting emergency use listing to Bharat Bio's Covaxin next week. WHO said Bharat Bio has been submitting data on a rolling basis and provided additional information at its request. Bharti Airtel has said that the first 5G network will be launched within 2 quarters of spectrum allocation and cover a large part of the country after 1 year. A former Facebook data scientist told US Congress that the social network's products harm children and fuel polarization in the US, while its executives refuse to change because they elevate profits over safety. She has laid responsibility with the company's CEO, Mark Zuckerberg. The testimony is adding fuel to efforts to pass tougher regulations on big tech companies. US stocks ended higher following Monday's tech-driven sell-off. The yield on the benchmark 10-year US Treasury note rose to 1.528% from 1.481% on Monday. But surging energy prices are threatening the corporate earnings outlook. WTI settled at its highest level since 2014. In the crypto market, Bitcoin crossed the 50,000 level for the first time in a month. Another Chinese home builder, Fantasia Holding, has hit financial trouble after it missed payment on debt obligations. This will add to the worries over China's property sector as Evergrande teeters on the brink of collapse. Back home, markets have ended higher, hoping to build a base for another run-up. Nifty moved past the 17,800 level to end near the day's high with decent gains. This level now becomes the inflection point for Nifty. If we stay above 17,800, there will be greater chances of moving higher. Experts also say market is in recovery mode and could hit lifetime highs in the coming days. Let's also talk about the active stocks this morning. Godrej Consumer Products said it expects to deliver high single-digit sales growth on a consolidated basis in the July to September period. With reducing COVID-19 cases and accelerated vaccination driving up demand, FMCG major Marico said its revenue growth in Q2 was in the low 20s. The NCLT has directed Zee Entertainment to submit reply on a petition filed by Invesco and OFI Global China by Thursday. Future Retail has terminated its franchise agreement with Dallas-based convenience stores operator 7-Eleven. Months after shelving plans to list its non-banking subsidiary HDB Financial, HDFC Bank has initiated a formal process to rope in a strategic investor. According to reports in the Economic Times, the lender is expecting a valuation of $8 to $9 billion, although the final contours will emerge only once firm offers are placed on the table. Airtel's 21,000 crore rupee rights issue has opened and will close on October 21st. Bharti shareholders were allotted one rights entitlement in their demat for every 14 shares held. Those REs, if not exercised on or before October 21st, will lapse. Textiles to auto ancillary conglomerate Raymond's real estate arm Raymond Realty has forayed into developing commercial properties. It is planning to expand the realty business through joint developments. And that's all we have time for. Thank you for listening in. This is your host Rohit signing off. Goodbye and take care.
The Rise with India podcast on ET Now.